We were celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary, and I thought life couldn't get any sweeter. The restaurant was a small, dimly lit place tucked away from the city's chaos, the soft hum of a string quartet weaving through the air, and the flickering candlelight reflecting in her eyes, which, for a fleeting moment, looked at me the way they did when we first met, full of warmth, curiosity, and love. But before I could fully lose myself in the comfort of the memory, I noticed him. My brother's old friend, sitting at the table beside ours, leaning slightly forward, a smirk playing on his lips, as if he had been waiting for the exact perfect moment to drop a bomb I wasn't prepared for. And then, almost too quietly to hear, he leaned toward me and whispered, "I guess you never saw it coming, did you?" Just like that, the world shifted. I froze mid-smile, the fork in my hand trembling slightly. The air suddenly felt colder, heavier, each note from the quartet now a sharp reminder of the tension I couldn't yet name. My eyes flicked to her, and at first, she smiled, perfectly poised, completely unaware, or maybe pretending to be. She reached across the table, her hand brushing mine, a gesture that once would have made my heart leap, but now it felt strange, foreign, as if I was holding someone I didn't truly know. And then his whisper hit me again, this time clearer, almost audible. "She thought you'd never notice." I blinked, forcing my mind to process. Notice what? But the unease clawing at my chest wouldn't let me think clearly. I tried to ignore it, laughed nervously at her joke about how fast 20 years had gone by, tried to pour wine into my glass with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. But my thoughts refused to relent. Every glance, every smile she gave me suddenly felt like a mask, every word, a lie I hadn't seen coming. My stomach churned, my heart pounding like a drum in a silent, darkened room. And then it began. The small, almost imperceptible gestures that revealed the cracks I had never noticed. Her phone buzzed again, and she instantly glanced at it, a flash of panic in her eyes. I noticed the way her hand trembled ever so slightly, the subtle hesitation before she answered, the way she lowered her voice just a little too much. My mind raced. I've never seen her act like this. The whispered words of my brother's friend echoed again. "You thought she was perfect." I tried to shake it off, to tell myself I was imagining things, but the suspense was suffocating. Every laugh from nearby tables sounded distant, every clink of cutlery amplified in my ears like a countdown. And then, as if on cue, he leaned slightly toward her, and I saw it, her reaction, a flicker of fear, quickly hidden under a practiced smile, but unmistakable to me. My chest tightened. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. I could feel the betrayal before it was spoken, a premonition that made my entire body rigid with anticipation. The waiter brought the dessert, and I tried to focus, trying to pretend that everything was normal, but my mind was trapped in a storm of suspicion. And then it happened. He whispered it again, softer this time, but this time I heard it. "All the secrets, all the lies. She thought you'd never know." My heart stopped. I set down my fork, my hands cold and shaking. I looked at her, really looked at her, and in that moment I saw it. The fleeting terror in her eyes, the brief hesitation before she lifted her glass, the tiny crack in the smile she had perfected for years. I couldn't breathe. My stomach felt hollow. 20 years of trust, of shared laughter, of children, of midnight conversations and whispered dreams. It all seemed to crumble in an instant. My hand rested on hers, and I felt the slightest pull, a tremor that betrayed more than words ever could. I wanted to ask, to scream, to confront, but my voice caught in my throat. Instead, I forced myself to smile, to continue the charade as the world around us seemed to shrink into that single table, that single moment, where the illusion of love was hanging by a thread. And then he whispered the words that shattered me completely. "You've been blind for too long. She never wanted this to be your night." My head spun. My vision blurred. I could feel the pieces of my heart splintering, each one falling silently to the floor. I wanted to look away, to escape, but I couldn't. The need to see, to confirm, to confront the truth was stronger than the fear that gripped me. I turned fully to her, my eyes locking with hers, and in that instant, she knew I knew. And the air between us became electric, thick with unspoken truths and unfulfilled promises. I finally spoke, my voice low, trembling but sharp. "How long?" She froze. The fork fell from her hand, a clatter that sounded impossibly loud in the still tension of the restaurant. Her eyes widened, the perfect mask crumbling as panic and guilt flashed across her face. For a moment, I thought she might run, but she stayed, trapped in the truth I had forced into the light. "How long have you been living a lie?" I repeated, each word slicing through the air, echoing off the walls like a sentence I had long dreaded to pronounce. Tears welled in her eyes. I could see it now, the weight of the deceit, the impossibility of repair. My world, the life I thought I had built, was gone, replaced by a terrifying, unrecognizable reality. And as I stood, my hands shaking, my heart shattering piece by piece, I realized the cruelest truth. The perfect life, the love I had believed in, had been nothing more than a fragile, intricate illusion, shattered by a single, whispered truth. The string quartet continued, oblivious, their soft notes mocking the chaos that now reigned inside me. I didn't wait for an explanation, for excuses, for apologies that would never mend what was broken. I slid the chair back, the scrape of wood sharp and final, and stood. I didn't say a word, only placed my hand on the table for a fleeting moment, feeling the warmth that had once meant everything, and then I walked away. Each step echoed in the corridor of my mind, a painful rhythm of loss and revelation. Behind me, the world blurred, candles flickering, soft music playing, laughter fading into nothingness, as the whisper, that single devastating whisper, replayed endlessly in my mind. She thought you'd never notice. And in that moment, I understood that some truths, once revealed, can never be unseen, some betrayals, once discovered, can never be forgiven, and some nights, meant to celebrate love, instead become the memory of a heart shattered into pieces too sharp to ever fully mend. That night, the 20th anniversary that was supposed to be a celebration of decades of love, became the day I lost everything I had believed in. The perfect world I had cherished collapsed silently, like a house of cards in the wind, leaving behind only the echo of betrayal, the cold sting of truth, and a heart that would never be whole again. And as I stepped out into the dark night, the city lights blurring around me, I realized one thing with absolute certainty. Life, as I knew it, was gone, and nothing would ever be the same.